Today, I want to introduce you to a destination which is often overlooked for work placements. There's a flexible visa and a minimum wage for interns. In this video, you're going to hear from some inspiring people who we've interviewed about living and working in Taiwan. Let's go.
Especially somewhere like Taiwan, there is such a already established international community there. So even if I hadn't, thinking back now, even if I hadn't made the actual effort to go out and meet people who were not from Taiwan but were in Taiwan, there are people I've met now who I would have met anyways, like through coworkers or through friends that I happen to like live near or something. And I kind of just ended up, because there's such a community there already, of not people just from like the Western side of the world, but also from other Asian countries who also do speak English predominantly. So it was very easy to find people to connect with.
My name is Daniel Miller. I'm a senior consultant at Forright Group. So I'm based in Taipei, and I'm a headhunter. I'm a recruiter. I specialize in the HR function. So basically, I hire HR managers, executives, and across Taiwan's main industries. So from semiconductor to tech to AI manufacturing, all sorts. Compared to the major sort of cities in East Asia, like sort of Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong, for instance, Taiwan's actually a lot more affordable. So, for instance, Hong Kong and Singapore, in terms of rental prices, they're on par with London, essentially. But with Taiwan, you're looking at, if you, I think about 40% less. So that's quite significant. And in my experience, graduates feel much more comfortable, much happier if they're not sort of financially squeezed by their environment. So I think Taiwan is actually very accessible in that sense.
And I went into Taiwan knowing nothing and suddenly discovering kind of a hidden gem, really, in terms of the history. So interesting, the sense of resilience and transformation is like kind of an ever-changing place, but at the same time is really grounded in values and tradition. And I think that kind of combination of traditional Chinese values, and of course you've got all the indigenous culture combined with that sense of modernity. It's really liberal as well. So, I was there when they legalized same-sex marriage, for example, and politically it's really fascinating as well. It's just quite a lot of turmoil, but quite exciting at the same time. I think I always felt that it was really welcoming. It's a really welcoming place. So you always feel like, even with the difference, looking different, sounding different, you always feel like people welcome you there. So I always felt really comfortable, no matter if it was in my 20s, my 30s, or later on in my 40s. I felt a sense, this place welcomes me and I can make this place my home. And no matter if you're there as a student or a professional, that's really important, right? To be in a place where you feel like you belong. And I always feel like I could belong there. As a woman, I would say safety for me was amazing, right? It's such a safe place, and of course in my 20s, I did go out a lot, and just to be able to just be out and about without always, for women, we're always scared of what may happen to us, and it's such a safe place. Yeah, it's got a lot of positive things, and the island has so much to offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like Taipei is like super vibrant. I mean, Kaohsiung, you go there now and it's just a fantastic city. The cities are amazing, but then it's got a lot of nature as well. That I think people realize how amazing nature is in Taiwan and how easy it is to get around and visit all these places. And even though, I mean, in many ways it's quite affordable as well. You can, I mean, it's an expensive city, but you can live comfortably on a kind of tight budget as well, which you can't do in some other cities around the world.
I think a lot of people speaking predominantly from a Taiwanese perspective, underestimate the tech hub that Taiwan is. I think it kind of flies under the radar a little bit, again, on how technologically advanced Taiwan is. If you look at companies like TSMC, if you look at, ASML, MediaTek, where I live, there's a huge construction project going maybe just 10 minutes down the road for a new ASML semiconductor manufacturing facility. It's a $30 million project. It's huge, huge, huge money. And there's huge opportunities here as well. So, if you do have like a hardware engineering background, not something which you would typically think, I want to take this and go overseas. I wish I had like a double E or a hardware background in Taiwan, because the opportunities inside these tech companies just look fantastic. And I think even for young graduates, what a lot of these companies want to do is they want to bring in young talent, and they want to attract the best and the brightest. They give some very good pay packages, especially by Taiwanese standards. And then they also really encourage and promote their career development within the organization, because it's such a fundamental pillar of Taiwan's economy and future development is the semiconductor industry, and also its tech industry by extension, that I think there's really exciting opportunities for young people, which I think a lot of people don't realize about Taiwan.
And I think if I was looking at it as a student, albeit that's quite hard for me at the age that I am now, but it's like there will be a lot of technical roles within those startups and like enormous tech businesses. But you're clearly a great example of someone who's doing kind of predominantly non-technical roles within those businesses. So would you say that if somebody could pick up sort of conversational Chinese and wasn't necessarily, and had done maybe a humanities degree or a business degree, languages degree, would you encourage them that there are opportunities there within that tech world in Taiwan that are non-technical?
I think without a technical degree, you will need a slightly higher level of Chinese language to stand out a bit more against other candidates, but I would absolutely say there's great opportunities. The reason being is these Taiwanese companies are looking to take their product to the global market. So oftentimes they're looking for a bridge in between, Taiwan and the UK, or Taiwan and America, or Taiwan and Europe, other sort of regions. And having a native speaker who's willing to step into the company, step into the culture, and be willing to work there, I think has a real benefit that they are quite happy to I don't want to say take advantage of, but use and utilize within their organization.
In Taiwan, I think the difference I've experienced is that generally Taiwanese people understand just how hard Chinese is, also because in Taiwan they use traditional characters as opposed to in China or Hong Kong, where increasingly it's simplified. So actually there is usually a reaction when someone hears a very obvious foreigner speaking a sentence in Chinese. I think it's received very how do you say? There's a lot of surprise. I think there's a lot of surprise and also support, in my experience of learning so far, especially when I go further down south in the island. You find, of course, in the capital city, people are more fast-paced and have less time to walk you through the complexities of a language, right? But my experience, especially down in Taitung, which is in the east coast, it's just felt really, like I'm on this journey with these people who want to share this part of their culture and the way they communicate. So yeah, it's been a really positive experience. It doesn't stop me from feeling stupid sometimes, and I still struggle to communicate with my grandma, because she has a very strong Taiwanese accent. But overall, I believe it's a very, very solid place to start that journey because of the sheer kindness.
And to be honest, I'm 30 minutes away from a stunning hike. I'm 30 minutes away from the beach. It's a really nice, compact island where you really get to enjoy yourself. And I think it is the top place in Asia in terms of quality of life. So you really you know, that work-life balance really exists here. If you want a sort of gateway to East Asia, I think as a sort of a launch pad into China, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, Taiwan's a really, really safe base to do that as a graduate. And, you know, you don't need to essentially, you know, worry about things that a lot of backpackers worry about, you know, like sort of, you know, for instance, traveling through Southeast Asia, you know, petty theft or crime, that, you know, can, you know, women walk alone at night, those kind of issues, you don't really face in Taiwan. It's really comfortable in that respect.
In the UK, I've tried to volunteer for London Fashion Week in the past and just not gotten any reply when I reach out to companies who are exhibiting there. But I tried again in Taiwan, and because it's much smaller and it's kind of the top designers are a lot more accessible, it's the same kind of thing. And I was able to actually network there and then start building a really organic relationship with a brand there. And then turns out they also come to London Fashion Week. And then this past Fashion Week in February, I was able to work with them at London Fashion Week. So also, yeah, building like global relationships, kind of, I guess. You never know like where a connection is going to take you.
I hope that's inspired you to find out more about Taiwan. One thing that I didn't mention in the video is Taiwan's famous food culture. But get on social media and look up some videos of people eating their way around the island. The food is incredible. Look me up on LinkedIn or send me an email if you want to find out anything more about Taiwan or our programs there. Thanks for watching.